They told you awakening would bring peace. But they didn't tell you it would first take everything you love. Paused a sec. They said you'd find your light. But they forgot to warn you that the light would blind you before it saves you. Whisper Carl Jung once said, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain." The truth is, awakening doesn't begin with bliss. It begins with confusion, with losing yourself, with realizing that the life you were building was built on someone else's dream. It's the moment you hear something whisper, "You are not who you think you are," and that whisper becomes a storm that no silence can contain. Awakening isn't about light. It's Abba, Ut, fire, a sacred fire that burns away everything false. Your ego, your comfort, your need to belong. They don't survive this kind of truth. You start seeing through illusions. Friends who only liked your mask. Beliefs that change your spirit, and emotions you thought were love, but were really control. You begin to see the shadow in everyone, including yourself. Carl Jung called this the meeting with the self. It's not a poetic idea. It's a collapse, the death of everything unreal inside you. And here's the secret most never tell you: this collapse isn't punishment. It's an initiation. But there's a hidden cost, because once you awaken, you can't go back. You'll walk through crowds and see pain hiding behind smiles. You'll feel every lie vibrate in your bones. The noise of the world will feel unbearable, and silence will feel like home. You'll lose people who can't meet your new frequency, not because you hate them, but because awakening separates truth from comfort. You'll question whether you've gone mad, because the more you awaken, the lonelier it feels. That's the price of seeing the truth. But listen, beneath the chaos, there's peace. A peace that doesn't come from fixing life, but from finally understanding it. Jung said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." That's what the shadow teaches you. It breaks you, so the light that remains is real. You don't awaken to escape your shadow. You awaken through it. And that's where the transformation begins. If this message found you at the right moment, subscribe for the next awakening. Now, breathe. You already know what comes next. Comment ignition question. Which part of your shadow spoke to you today? They never told you that awakening feels like dying. Not a physical death, but the death of who you thought you were. Your dreams start dissolving. The goals you once chased begin to look meaningless. And the people you once admired, you see them as mirrors now, each one reflecting a piece of your shadow. You start to ask questions no one wants to answer. Who am I if I'm not this identity? Why does truth feel so heavy? And that's when the universe responds, not with comfort, but with silence. Jung wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are, but that privilege demands a sacrifice. You'll feel forgotten. You'll lose the old gods you worshipped, fame, approval, control. You'll wander through a psychic desert where nothing grows except truth. And just when you think you're free, your shadow returns. Wearing your face, it says, 'You wanted awakening? Then look at what you abandoned to find it.' That voice is not your enemy. It's the unhealed part of you asking to be loved before it disappears. Every awakening demands an offering, and the offering is always illusion. Once you see the machinery behind the world, you can't unsee it. You notice the manipulation in kindness, the fear hidden in religion, the hunger inside. Look, it's overwhelming. You want to close your eyes again, but innocence is gone. That's the hidden cost of awakening. you lose the comfort of ignorance forever. Yet beneath that despair, something beautiful stirs. A quiet acceptance that this pain is proof of life evolving. After the collapse, you learn to walk differently. You stop chasing meaning and start listening. You discover that enlightenment isn't light at all. It's clarity. A clarity so sharp it cuts through illusion and leaves only what's real. Jung called it the union of opposites. It's where shadow and light shake hands and stop pretending to be enemies. You realized you were never broken, only unfolding. The darkness didn't destroy you. It revealed what could survive without pretending. And in that silence, you find peace that no external light can give. The awakening doesn't end with light. It ends with balance. And knowing that both darkness and light belong to you. You stop running from your shadow and start walking beside it, because the shadow was never your curse. It was your compass. If this message found you at the right moment, subscribe for the next awakening now. Breathe. You already know what comes next. What part of your awakening felt like a loss, but became your greatest gift? At some point, the chaos stops. Not because life becomes easier, but because you stop resisting what it's trying to show you. You begin to see that every person who hurt you was only acting out their own shadow. Every heartbreak was a mirror breaking to set you free. The pain doesn't vanish, but it softens. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start whispering, "Thank you." That's when awakening transforms from punishment to purpose. Jung sighed. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it would direct your life, and you would call it fate. Now you understand what he meant. The universe was never against you. It was waiting for you to see yourself clearly. You realize the shadow isn't evil. It's misunderstood light, the parts of you that loved in silence, that feared in secret. You begin to forgive yourself not as an act of ego, but as an act of understanding. Forgiveness is how you retrieve the pieces of your own soul. Here is the secret cost Jung never romanticized. Awakening doesn't make you special. It makes you responsible. Once you see the truth, you can no longer live unconsciously. You can't lie to yourself without feeling a tear at your spirit. You can't chase illusions without hearing your soul whisper, "We've already been here." This is the true burden of consciousness. You become the keeper of your own integrity. You stop blaming fate and start becoming it. And strangely, that's where peace finally begins. You go back to ordinary life, but you're no longer ordinary. Your silence carries meaning. Your presence becomes medicine. You no longer seek to fix people. You understand that everyone awakens in their own time, and sometimes sleeping a little longer is mercy. You live slower now. You listen more. You smile without needing a reason. The awakening is no longer an event. It's a way of breathing. This is the part of the story no one tells you. The moment awakening stops feeling like fire and starts feeling like home. The hidden cost was never your loss. It was the illusion that you were ever asleep. If this message found you at the right moment, subscribe for the next awakening. Now, you already know what comes next. Which part of your awakening felt painful, but became your turning point?